What's up? What's up? You know what time it is, baby. It is time for 5-star matchups. We got the Pittsburgh Steelers versus the New Orleans Saints. Hoo-wee! And this is one that we should be excited about, Steeler Nation. So let's get right into this thing. Now, the first matchup we have to talk about, Kenny Pickett versus Mathieu, aka the Honey Badger. Now, when we're talking about this matchup, the specifics that we're looking for is ball security from Kenny Pickett. Now, we know Mathieu has made a career out of stealing the rock. I mean, the way that he's able to disguise jump routes, his ball skills, his run after ability, those are all elite tier. And it's been proven that all of the stops that he's had as a professional and even dating back to his time at LSU. But when we're talking about Kenny Pickett, we've seen some of the positive stuff that he brings to the table. We understand some of the things that he brings in terms of his passing attack and how he can be a productive player in that phase. But the big thing that he has to work on right now is the ball security, cutting down on the turnovers. And we know Mathieu is one of those guys who excels at that. He has 2 interceptions on the season already. But if Kenny can protect this ball and not allow Mathieu to ultimately trick him into something and causing a turnover, man, I love this opportunity for Kenny and these wide receivers, but you have to protect the ball. All right, so time for number 2, the second matchup, baby, that we need to be looking out for. Got to talk about these tackles, right? Chooks for Dan Moore versus Cameron Jordan. Now, listen. Cam Jordan is as good as advertised, has 5 sacks on the season, but he is a 100-plus sack guy throughout his career. Those are Hall of Fame caliber numbers. So we understand what that challenge is going to be, but more importantly, man, for Chooks and Dan, they cannot allow Cam to take over this game. He's one of those players that, man, when he gets hot, he gets sacks in bunches, and he can really be a disruptor, not just in the run game, but more particularly in the passing phase of it. For Chooks and Dan, man, we understand that at times they've been playing really well, but at times they've also struggled. They have to be really consistent in this particular matchup, though, to ultimately allow Kenny to have some time. You know, because if he can do that, man, I do feel like Kenny will be able to have some positive opportunities out there for him. But they have to keep Cameron Jordan at bay. So that's why that's the number 2 matchup for this week's 5-star matchups. But now it's time for number 3. Trey, what up, though? 3-piece on him. And we got to holler at the homie Minkah Fitzpatrick versus Andy Dalton. Or who knows, maybe even Jameis Winston. Hello. But either way, when we're talking about Andy Dalton, we know who he is. He's been in this league for a while. He's had success, obviously dating back to his time in Cincinnati, but he is very limited as a passer. At times, you'll see him flash, and he can do certain things. But at this stage right now, watching him in New Orleans offense, he's limited. He is not the, Pro Bowl caliber Andy Dalton that you might have saw in Cincinnati with A.J. Green. But more importantly, Minkah Fitzpatrick is pissed off. Coming off a performance where he didn't have his best outing. But he's also one of those guys who has a knack for creating turnovers, for tricking quarterbacks. And when you're talking about Andy Dalton or Jameis Winston, either one of those guys are more than capable of being tricked and taken advantage of as pertains to, them reading coverages and stuff like that, or they're just risk-taking and things like that. But for Minkah, man, this is one of those ones where you're going to need some type of turnover. And this is a prime opportunity because they are going to, in terms of Andy Dalton or Jameis, they will give you opportunities in terms of throwing this ball up there and giving you a chance to catch it, man, and get you an interception, man. So for Minkah Fitzpatrick, I know he can't wait to get back out there and right the wrongs that were out there on that tape last week. So I can't wait to watch him go to work. But now it's time for matchup number 4. Oh, and speaking of matchup number 4, if you have not liked the video just yet, make sure you like it. What are you waiting on? But now that it's time for matchup number 4, and you've already liked this video and subscribed, let's talk about it, baby, because it's Pat Freiermuth, baby, a.k.a. Pat Shiesty, a.k.a. Project Pat, a.k.a. Moats, versus Demario Davis. Now, Demario Davis been doing this thing for a long time, baby. And he's a really, really good player, man. Extremely smart, athletic, rangy in terms of his speed, good ball skills, can cover and can blitz, plays the run exceptionally well, is the heart and soul of that defense in terms of being their vocal leader and just their captain, man. And when you watch him play, that defense goes as he goes. When he's playing well and he's on another level, that defense is playing well and on another level. And that's the reason why he has an all-pro under his belt since joining that Saints defense. He is that calming presence for them. But in contrast, we know what Pat Freiermuth has been to this offense this year. We've been seeing how Pat Freiermuth has continued to emerge with his role. We understand that he's a combat catch guy. We know he can run out the catch. We know he creates separation. But more importantly, now that Chase Claypool is no longer here, his role becomes even more important, even more significant, because he has to be the one that's consistently winning in the middle of the field. Like I said, no Chase Claypool, right? So when we're looking at Pat, man, I do anticipate his targets going up. I do anticipate him getting more opportunities to be an impact player. And I feel if he can win these matchups, man, when he's matched up against Demario Davis specifically, man, I think it's a great day for them Pittsburgh Steelers, baby. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. But now it is time for the fifth and final 5-star matchup. Whew. And this one I'm really excited about, and I'm hoping I get it. Myles Jack versus Alvin Kamara. Now, Alvin Kamara, whoo cha. That dude is a bad man in that backfield, man, in terms of him running the rock between the tackles, outside the tackles, in terms of him catching the ball, his run out the catch ability, contact, balance, vision, burst. I mean, everything you want. He brings you that. And at times, they try to make sure that they force him the ball because he is a guy that's, compensated at a high level, and he ultimately gives this team one of the best chances to win or score points offensively. But in, the flip side to that, when we talk about Myles Jack, well, number one, we've seen what Myles Jack has meant to this team, this defense specifically, and the impact that he has had on Devin Bush and Robert Spillane. Now, we also understand that Myles is dealing with a little bit of that knee issue, dating back to the Philly game, so we will obviously see what the game time looks like for him. But Myles Jack or Devin Bush / Robert Spillane, whoever has to have this matchup, man, we got to win this one because this is the guy that can keep their offense on schedule. When we talk about Andy Dalton / Jameis Winston and some of their limitations, this is the guy that they kind of lean to, the guy that they kind of rely on to keep the offense on schedule, to keep them from 3rd and longs. But when we talk about our linebacker play, and specifically the linebacker play of these three guys, Myles Jack, Devin, or Spillane, really hoping it's Myles. I really needed to be Myles. But all three of those guys, man, have elevated their play this season, man. They've been one of the most consistent groups this season as well. And we're going to need that consistency to carry over specifically in this matchup right here versus Alvin Kamara. So with that being said, man, y'all let me know some matchups that y'all might be looking forward to in this matchup. Steelers, Saints. But either way, I appreciate you for tuning in. And until next time, baby, peace.